Act. The Commission contended that the petitioners had violated the said provisions of the Electoral Act by failing to apply for the pre-hearing notice within 7 days after the close of pleadings, marked by the filing of their final replies to the respondents' replies to the petition. But dismissing the applications in separate rulings, the Justice Mohammed Garba-led tribunal unanimously held that the petitioners did file their application for the issuance of pre-hearing notice within the time stipulated by law. Justice Garba, who read the lead ruling, held that the pleadings were closed on April 20, 2019, when the petitioners filed their reply to the last received reply of the second respondent to the petition. The judge held that, therefore, the application for the issuance of pre-hearing notice filed by the petitioners on April 20 was within the 7 days period stipulated by law and deemed to be proper. He dismissed the applications by INEC and Buhari for lacking in merit. The tribunal, however, also in another ruling, dismissed an application by the petitioners seeking that judgment be delivered in their favor on the grounds of alleged tardiness of the respondents, INEC, Buhari, and APC. And the Muslim rights concern have criticized the Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike over comments he made during a recently held church crusade in Port Harcourt, the state capital, in which he declared Rivers State a Christian state. Reacting to the declaration, the Islamic Human Rights Organization called on stakeholders in the Nigerian project to call the governor to order. The body, in a press statement made available to newsmen by its director, Professor Ishak Akintola, described the governor's statement as audacious, unguarded, and reckless. It expressed disappointment that Wike had the temerity to declare Rivers State a Christian state at a time when the country was facing various forms of religious and ethnic crisis, and accused the governor of brandishing state-sponsored religiosity to cover gross ineptitude. Adding that the rising spate of crime in Rivers State is an indictment on the governor, the Islamic Human Rights Organization consequently called on Wike to tackle court killings, kidnappings, and youth restiveness, which it cited as byproducts of mass unemployment rather than stoke religious tensions in the state. And now the National Orientation Agency has pledged its full support for the forthcoming Today95.1fm Security and Anti-Cultism Summit. The State Director of the National Orientation Agency, Young Ayotamono, told our correspondent, Ofrida Lerechi, that the Anti-Cultism Summit is a welcome development, adding that it would help rewrite the narrative of cultism is trying to place on the state.
It's a welcome development. It shows that all of us are thinking alike towards finding a lasting solution to the issue of cultism, which also has its own relationship with kidnapping, armed robbery, different dimensions of it. So
Young Ayotamono, while commending the management of Today FM for the initiative, sued for inclusivity in the summit and called for the sustainability approach.
It's a welcome development, and I know it's very much in support of it. It's been we all know the narrative which cultism has tried to place on River State, and that is a narrative that we all know is not very correct. It should be sustainable. It's not a one-stop shop. You know, we are talking about a phenomenon that we have been contending with for quite some time now. So it shouldn't just be a touch and go thing, but rather we should keep up the pace. And how do we keep up the pace? The necessary strategy that of dealing with the problem that will come from this conference. We also expect that we should, collectively see to its implementation. At the end of the day, we expect that we will come out with sustainable solutions that will end this menace of cultism.
And now on the foreign scene, a heat wave affecting much of Europe is expected to intensify further after Germany, Poland, and the Czech Republic recorded their highest ever June temperature yesterday. Some countries, including France and Switzerland, expect temperatures above 40 degrees Celsius on Thursday. Meteorologists say exceptionally hot air drawn in from northern Africa is to blame for the European heat wave. French officials have issued stark warnings about the risk to life. The heat is expected to rise further in many places over the next 3 days, the meteorologist says. And that's it on the news update for the hour. Thank you for your time. Stay tuned because today's hustle comes up shortly. My name is Fiemi Andrew.
Radio has never been this good. Today, 95.1 FM, Port Harcourt.
Insecurity has become a common factor in our general language within the Nigerian space, no doubt. Not only has it become a threat, it has begun taking diverse dimension we cannot ignore, where cultism spreads and breeds evil in its every wake. A solution we seek. A desire to stop the trend is imminent. And as your number one talk station, we have taken the challenge to champion this discuss and prefer solutions. Join us at our Anti-Cultism Summit on the 6th of July at 9 a.m. Be part of the solution.
Cultism is a monster whose ravaging effects have left tales of woes such as loss of lives, kidnapping, drug abuse, threats, destruction of properties, blackmail, rape, and many other ills in society. In our society today, poor parental training, peer pressure, poverty, quest for power and social identity are the leading factors that contributes to youths indulging in this act. Again, peace can be restored to our society only and only if we attach value to human lives. And this would bring about rapid development to our community. Say no to cultism. This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM, Voice of the People.
Or here too tight to another person have to down for this place.
Abobe, march down, Moko, come on here.
Madam, na so you dey reach. How you go chop banana finish, wrap am for nylon, put am inside your bag? When you dey close to window, you no fit throw am now. Abeg go, na so you dey reach.
Abeg, make I calm down.
Don't you know that banana peels are slippery? It can actually cause an accident. And moreover, you are not supposed to throw things on the road. You should pack your rubbish until you get to a trash can where you can dispose it properly. We all have a responsibility to keep the state clean. Keeping the state clean will help stop the spread of diseases and leave our city looking beautiful. So, Oga and Madam, let's stop dumping refuse anyhow on the roads. Let's join our hands together to keep our state clean, to keep River State clean.
This message is brought to you by Today 95.1 FM.
Port Harcourt.
Corruption is a dishonest action that destroys people's trust. Corruption takes many forms and can be interpreted by many people in many ways. It is hard to enter into any sector in Nigeria without observing one corrupt practice or the other. The faces of corruption ranges from political, universities and college, bank sector, the civil service, even the religious bodies. In Nigeria, factors like greed, poor youth empowerment, poverty, unemployment, etc. are said to be responsible for corruption. However, no reason is good enough to be corrupt, because corruption is capable of crippling our economy, raise poverty level, bring about national crisis, as well as poor national development. Stop the embezzlement and misappropriation of public or government funds, bribery, malpractice, man no man, and treat all citizens equally today. A corrupt-free nation is possible. This message is powered by your premium talk radio Today 95.1 FM. The voice of the people.
For that station, John.
Yeah, don't worry you.
We're passionate about it.
We love talking.
We are
your number one talk radio station, 95.1.
95.1 FM.
Every day on Today 95.1 FM, there's always an opportunity to comment and air your views on our various programs. It's not just about us, it's about you, your opinion, and your voice.
President, don't you think that it's time to step down, sir?
Be part of the story, the gist, reactions, intrigues, and the news.
President Neil Patrick Harris has called for greater regulation.
Give us a feedback or join the conversation on Twitter at TodayFM951. Our Facebook address is Today95.1 FM, or join us on the number 0701 933 9962. That's our WhatsApp application. Be informed, be educated, and have fun. We are Today 95.1 FM, voice of the people.
This is today's hustle. One show that embodies objectivity. We raise the bar in examining the good, the bad, the sordid, everything that has to do with society.
In America, you buy a big house and you pay gradually for 30 years of your life. That is politics. In Nigeria, you carry all your salary and go and rent one with bad politics.
Everything that has to do with
You
society.
must negotiate. If we don't negotiate, when a man is pushed to the wall, he bounces back with double efforts. We have been pushed to the wall.
The Hustle. Every weekday from
1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
on Today 95.1 FM.
Your premium talk radio station, Today 95.1 FM, right here in the Garden City of Port Harcourt. 14 minutes past 1 o'clock this lovely Thursday afternoon. Many people would say throwback Thursday, but we're not throwing back anything. we're just live here at Today 95.1 FM, and this is today's hustle. Instead of throwing back, we actually criticize, analyze, and we get your opinion on all of the things that's happening in the country with regards to government policies, and etc. It goes on and on. Anyways, quick introduction. My name is Ifeemi Andrew. You can call me Andrew for short. And Bolu is also with me.
My name is Bolu.
What's the full name again?
Boluwatife.
Boluwatife. If
Yes.
you can't remember that, we're good. If you can't remember that,
Just
we're
say
good.
Bolu.
Bolu is what we need you to say, very short and very easy. Well, you're quite aware that Today 95.1 FM is also organizing an anti-cultism summit. Yes, anti-cultism security summit, both together. And, it's supposed to happen, or it's happening on the 6th of July. It's just around the corner. So you're going to get to meet everybody. That's one. You're going to get to meet Annie,
Andrew,
get to see myself. Bolu would be there as well. Kalada, Buchi, everybody.
Naomi.
Everyone.
Everyone.
You get to meet everybody. So yes, if you've been meaning to see how small I look, you'll find you'll find out on the 6th of July. But most important is the fact that we know that cultism is ravaging the country, and River State particularly. I mean, statistics that came out was talking about states that had death by court-related clashes.
Yes.
And we had Rivers, Abuja, Lagos all together. And this is just the perfect time to talk about this and see how we can turn the attention of our youths from indulging in such a criminal activity. Anyways, another thing you should remember is that today actually is a celebration for some people. It's International Day Against Drug Abuse. So I think it should be for everybody, not just some people. International Day for Drug Abuse. So you can mark your calendar just in case of next year. Every 27th of June is International Day Against Drug Abuse. And that's what we'll be starting off the show with. Remember, on the first half of the show, we get to talk about several issues trending. And then on the second half, we then migrate to a particular issue and focus there. Today, we're focusing on something that relates to you, me, everybody, and it's very important and very timely. Until that time, let's keep the cat in the bag. But for now, according to the NDLEA, we have about 14.3 million Nigerians between the ages of 15 and 64 who use hard drugs.
64.
Yeah. You're thinking papas don't use hard drugs.
Yes,
unfortunately,
I thought it was something for the youths, and
we don't know what this is, but we know that there are some old people who can't sleep, depression, and many things, and it just forces them.
But when they say
hard
drugs, it doesn't mean drugs that are medicated.
Hard drugs are drugs that you don't sell across counter.
Exactly.
You only use them strictly. When I mean strictly on doctor's prescription, or perhaps in some cases strong sedatives are used during operations, strong aesthetics are used during operation. But some people use these things for to just feel a certain way. I don't know how it helps, because
I don't know how. A lot of them say they are depressed or they're facing certain issues.
As popular as alcohol, I don't see why people like it. Like, it messes me up, and I say to myself, the next morning you don't feel normal. So why do you still take this thing?
I don't know.
Not like it's wrong to take it. All right. Biblically, they say it's wrong to take it. But I'm of the opinion, I think it's better not to take it at all, because you don't trust your discipline. Yeah, if you can drink responsibly. But how many people can drink responsibly is another question. We're not going into alcohol now. But it's a drug. Yeah. Food itself is also a drug, and people abuse it. But in this case, food is a drug. The best drug known to man.
Or the best drug known to
It works faster than any other drug. You're hungry, and you just see food, you're already filled before you eat.
No, come on now. Even if the food is not yours.
Well, especially when it's yours.
Yeah.
But coming back to business, NDLEA says 14.3 million Nigerians. That's what they are saying. Ages between 15 and 64.
That is surprising.
Yeah. And I was reading an article that was talking about the different regions where drugs are most abused. And the North, Kaduna was a city mentioned. Kano, Kaduna, Jos. These three, were mentioned.
What of Abuja?
Abuja as well.
Abuja.
Well, these three were leading Abuja. And then now, from recent reports, it shows that Rivers State is also beginning to tow. Niger Delta, Rivers State, Bayelsa State, Delta State, but Rivers beginning to tow that line. Young people who are beginning to get more involved in drug abuse. This report from NDLEA came as Kwara State Labour Party LP governorship candidate in the 2019 general election and general secretary to National Union of Textile, Garment and Tailoring Workers of Nigeria, called for a national drug policy to arrest issues concerning hard drugs usage in Nigeria, among others. Remember that there was a ban on codeine? And that raised a lot of talks. Everybody, why would we? That was after a documentary was released. I think it was by one of the international media organizations. I don't want to promote anybody, so no names, even if they have all the name in the world. But the point I'm trying to make is, many people weren't comfortable with that, especially businessmen, because they lost a lot of monies and they were going to lose a lot of money, and they are losing a lot of monies now. People still sell illegally over the counter. Pharmacists, chemists, name them, roadside people, whatever. People still purchase this, banned substance. That's just one. There are other drugs, Benylene, morphine. People just go high on all of these things, and heroin,
a lot of things,
cannabis,
now. Retinol.
People even get high on. I think a friend of mine was from Kaduna was telling me that people get high on excreta.
Yes, soccer waste.
Soccer waste. Yes. They poop in buckets and then seal the buckets, allow it to ferment for a very long while, and then go to inhale whatever comes out of it. Even gum, methylated spirit. People abuse. There are things you hear and you don't know. In fact, you're blown out of your mind. You're blown out of your mind. So, according to the commander for the NDLEA, Benue State Commander Florence Ezonye, I quote, recent reports of the National Survey on Drug Abuse conducted by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, in collaboration with the Center for Research and Information on Substance Abuse, sponsored by the United Nations Office on Drug Control and the European Union, confirmed that Nigeria has about 14.3 million hard drug users aged between 15 and 64. The survey further revealed that 10.6 million Nigerians abuse opioids, and that's it. Opioids. It just gets you. I don't know. You feel
relieved.
No, I don't know how to put it. I would have said no.
Like
you feel like you have
you don't
nausea,
have no
but
problems.
Like you just feel it's a certain way. Opioids and people take that a lot, especially in Asia. If you go to the Philippines, you go to China, you go to India. I'm trying to think about another place. Morocco in Africa. Yes, in Morocco in Africa, they do that a lot. They have to just. It's more like what shisha does.
Shisha doesn't do anything.
It does.
To reports.
It does.
Well,
I tell you, it does. This is the reason why I say so.
Okay.
Remember, cigarette was said to not be harmful at one point, if you remember very well.
Yes.
For a long while now, cigarette does this, cigarette does that. Canned food was perfect when it first came out. And now they tell you it's something that could cause cancer. So I think everything you consume, especially when you begin to abuse it, has an effect. Even oxygen. Too much of oxygen can kill you. You could suffocate. That's how it is. Anyways, so he said that 2.4 million youths and adults abuse codeine-based syrup, with 92,000 more using cocaine. And then here in Rivers State, there is also a fact that was dropped by the NDLEA. Said that there are now more females who are engaged in drugs and substance abuse here in the state. Hard drugs like cocaine and heroin are consumed more in Rivers State than any other type of hard drug.
Like, how many people can even afford cocaine?
The first time I heard of a place, they called the place Cocaine Village. I was like, what?
Cocaine Village?
Yes, I was like, what is this?
Where? The Rivers State?
Yes, I heard it. And I was like, oh. But it's not like it means, it's not a literal meaning though. I don't know why they called it that.
Wow.
It was yesterday, by the way. Sorry, let me correct that. Yeah, it was yesterday. The International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking was yesterday. Thank you. 26th, not 27th. Let me correct that that error there. 26th of June, not 27th. Thank you very much. So that happened. And that is what the figures are from the NDLEA. And that's an institution that's doing well. They've been trying to fight this a lot of, in different ways. They've been trying to see how they can curb young people from abusing drugs. But they are not still rated to be the best institution in Nigeria. INEC has come out to say that they are the most improved institution. I thought about the EFCC too. But that's what INEC says, that they are the most improved institution.
Okay, like a while back, if you can remember, Itse Sage came out and he said that Itse Sage is the chairman of the president. It was blasting INEC.
Mahmoud.
He blasted Mahmoud specifically. He said Mahmoud was a very weak man. He used some strong words, and it was like he collapses easily under pressure. And he said some other things, and that was due to the fact that INEC was thinking of registering more political parties. And now Professor Mahmoud Yakubu has come out to say that the INEC is the most improved public service in Nigeria. He also stated that the electoral bodies, they use their electoral officers, right? That they use their electoral officers as observers in foreign elections so that they can know more about how these things run, and they can expose them right to the best global practices in the world. But now, if Yakubu is saying these things, if Professor Yakubu is saying these things, I mean, what does it then say about what the EU reports about the elections? That the election was mad with violence.
There's always an EU report,
and he has also come out to say that the institution improves every year.
That's what he said.
That's what he said. But now people are saying the 2015 elections were better, way better than the last
that's
ones.
one ultimate question. Okay. Do you expect Mahmoud Yakubu to say something different about the INEC that he heads? If you ask, from my perspective, I would say like, you're not an authority in the sense that you're not like an institution that gives statistics. That's not your job. Or you're not an individual that works in one. If it was coming from the maybe a Nigeria Bureau of Statistics, if it was coming from maybe the EU, the UN, these are bodies that, or maybe any other body that comes out with this report, we would have said, okay, let's really look at this. But it might be just political or a response. As far as anybody's concerned, it could be a response to what Ishe Sage said about him just yesterday.
Exactly, but now it's not. He didn't specifically mention why he's saying this. He also said when compared with its counterpart, that is other electoral bodies in West Africa,
not just electoral bodies in West Africa.
In West Africa, that the commission should be rated really high. And I'm wondering, because we didn't hear of violence in other countries as such in West Africa, because we saw other countries go through Ghana, yes, they did their elections, and and we still have petitions upon petitions upon petitions. I feel like if you have a really free and a fair election, there shouldn't be much of controversies and petitions, tribunals this, tribunal that. Is there a server? There's no server.
I think what we need to know now is where was he coming from when he said that they're the most improved in what aspect? I think that's what he needs to make clear.
Well, he said some of its electoral officers were sent abroad as observers in other
that's
countries.
What made them improved, improved.
Not exactly. He said he exposed them to the best global practices. Now the question is, did you bring these global practices back to Nigeria? Because if you brought these practices back to Nigeria and you're telling me we do not have a server and we're still counting manually, do they count manually in the US? I'm not sure. So if you're telling me you brought the best global practices, the best global practice right now is no one counts manually anymore. So if you're bringing it back to Nigeria, then why are we still counting manually? Why don't we have a server? And why do we have so many controversies today?
So many petitions.
I heard some of the petitions were dropped today. Some of I think the Hope Democratic Party was I think they wanted to drop their petition against
INEC.
Against the INEC and President Muhammadu Buhari, and then the tribunal dismissed their petition to drop their petition. So it's quite funny, and then there are other issues arising and all.
But I don't think it's enough. Well,
but Yakubu still feels we are improving.
If he says that there is an improvement within INEC, it's only fair to say, well, things are or there was more money allocated, perhaps. There was more money.
There was more money allocated.
There was an improvement. Okay, perhaps I'm saying that's why I said perhaps, because I'm not sure. Okay, but we know that there was early arrival of electoral staffs to some voting centers.
Yes.
So that's why we wanted to know exactly what he meant by improve. You can't just say you're the most improved public institution. The EFCC could be said as
quite improved. What
as well.
What about the SSS?
Well, right, DSS. NDLEA.
Yes.
We could say NAFDAC.
Nigerian police.
The Nigerian police, yes. There are a lot of people that we could say have improved.
Have improved a lot.
We could term this to be self-praise.
Yes, self-praise. And do you feel he should praise himself at this time?
When we look at what INEC is going through now.
Yes.
And what has been said about INEC and the number of issues, how they handled these different petitions that came pre-election, and how long it took them to even decide on which party should be on the ballot, which candidate should come, which candidate shouldn't. I don't think there's been much of an improvement. I think, in fact, it kind of dropped down a little bit. It
dropped down a little bit from 2015.
Because according to the reports that came, the 2015 election, in fact, Aisha Sage himself even confirmed that.
He confirmed it.
Come on, 2015 election, for me, I feel like Jega did a better job than what...
And Sage is on the winning side, or he was on the winning side, and he still made that statement. So it's not even a case of playing politics and trying to do stuff against the other party. It's just saying what it feels.
Because perhaps if it was coming from a member of the opposition party, many would have said it's political and we shouldn't pay attention to it. Anyways, let's move on to something else. We'll be opening the phone lines pretty soon. Meanwhile, you can send in your text messages. The SMS portal is 0701-933-9962. 0701-933-9962. That's the SMS portal. If you want to call us shortly, we'll call out the phone number. But before we do that, there's something we'd like you to react to. It's coming from a university don. His name is Professor Uno Igim. He says that the African culture has put much pressure on political leaders to steal and become corrupt because they want to please their people. And I don't think he's very far from the truth. I'll give you a typical example. If you're a leader in Nigeria now, in a position, and where you're coming from do not have enough dividends of democracy, they would say you failed. Everybody's angry at former President Goodluck Jonathan now because they said, while he was there, what did you do for us? That's the notion. So if you look at that, would you feel like, yes, how we act as a people, as a society, has really caused, our politicians to act in certain ways.
Well, the truth is, what you are, what I am today, is as a result of the society. Because, like, if
they all came from that
they all
society.
came from that society. So if they act in a certain manner, that means that is how that society is. You know, there was this. I'm trying to remember one media house that did a survey recently, and they were asking people that, okay, if you get into certain positions in government, would you steal money? And they said yes, they would. And they were asking them, but you're complaining now that people are stealing money and there's corruption everywhere. They said, no. When I get there during my time, I will make sure I steal. Then after me, we can talk about. And those were random people.
That takes us to what I was saying yesterday about former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Emmanuel. Governor Emmanuel, I can't remember. Why is his name skipping my head now?
He's so popular.
Akpabio. All right, so he when he was saying the monies that the jumbo pay, jumbo pay that National House of Assembly members take home, and he said, well, it's not him that made the law. And he's not aware of any jumbo pay, but he knows that what everybody's taking is what was approved. In other words, like we can't stop it. People have been doing
now.
Professor Igim of Department of Public Administration, University of Calabar, was speaking in a keynote address at a one-day symposium organized by Corruption Through Interfaith Platforms in Nigeria project. He said, Africans demanded so much from their leaders once in position because they wanted them to satisfy all their selfish needs at once. And I said to you yesterday, if you remember vividly, that if you're in a family and you win a political, you get into political office of any form, your family members are happy. Your community is happy. Extended family, everybody's happy.
And they expect something from you.
It's because they need you to meet all the demands.
Exactly.
It's more like a source, an avenue to enrich yourself and the family. That's what it is now in Nigeria. If we look at that, I don't know if you agree with it. We'd like to know if you agree with what the prophet said. If that is the reason why our leaders are becoming more corrupt by the day. And talking about more corrupt,
that cannot be the only reason, but it is
it is one factor. If you agree, ex-Bauchi governor also has come out to say that there's been talks that Mohammed Abubakar, that's his name, spent 2.3 billion on funeral materials.
That's the governor of
ex-governor of Bauchi State. So now he has come out to say that he did not spend 2.3 billion naira. He said he spent only 1.2 billion naira on funeral materials. Like, he was speaking through Mukhtar Jibril, his media aide. The former governor said he inherited the practice of buying funeral materials from his predecessors due to its impact on the people. Governor Bala Mohammed of the state had accused his predecessor of spending 2.3 billion naira on funeral materials in 5 months. So he's saying he didn't spend 2.3. So he spent 1.2 billion in 5 months on funeral materials. Hold up. We want to know who died and what are these materials for. In a statement, he said that the purchase passed through due process and awarded. Is this what we do with the monies that come into the different states? It's a huge question. He said, I quote,
1.2 billion.
In response to media reports on the issue of mahogany and shrouds procured for burials, we want to state that this is a practice inherited by the government of Abubakar from its predecessors. Hold up. Considering its significance and impact on the people, especially the bereaved, it decided to continue with it. It was almost like in Bayelsa State one time when it wasn't this assembly, the former assembly, the first term of Governor Siraki Dixon. I don't want to mention the name of the particular local government where the president was representing, but he said that they were asking the question. They said monies to come and give, it was financial audit, so you come and give account, tell us what you did with the monies. And then he said that he spent I can't remember the exact millions of naira, but it was running into 100 million naira, I think, thereabout. And they said, what did you use that money for? He said it was to print promotion for civil servant, promotion papers for civil servants.
Promotion papers.
Yes,
to print
for civil servants. And I was like,
how many civil servants?
I was like, oh my goodness. Like, how in a ream of paper, how many papers are in a ream, and how much does it cost?
Goodness.
And you're talking, and this is just another typical example. How would 1.2 billion for funeral materials in 5 months?
5 months.
How many people died in Bauchi State?
How many funerals? How many?
A lot of things.
Funeral material.
A lot of things to talk about. But that's what it says, and it also, he went further to say that it's not him. Actually, it's been there. So if you come in and you meet it and you see that this thing perhaps is gulping too much money, can't you change it? Well,
funny.
let's go to
And
our
then
phone lines quickly. All right, you want to say something?
It's quite comical the way he said he didn't spend.
He said he didn't spend 2.3. It was 1.2 billion.
It's like when I was small and my mom come and say, "Bolu, you stole meat in the pot," and I'm like, "Nah, I didn't steal meat. I stole pomo."
Okay, and
but
pomo
I
is
still
not
stole.
meat. well, it's we don't know what cultural value this has to the people of Bochi. So no disrespect to them. We don't know.
We don't
but
know.
The amount of money is now. Is this supposed to be the duty of government? Where are they coming from with that idea? We'll find out more from you. Let's get your thoughts now. We're aware that a lot of us want to say a thing or two on any of the issues that we've raised. So you can do well to send a text message to 0701-933-9962, or you call our phone lines on 0817-000951 or 0810-9510-951. Those are the numbers. Let's hear what your thoughts are. Good afternoon. You're welcome. Can you please turn down the volume of your radio?
It's okay now.
Okay. Your name, please, and where you're calling from?
Mascot, calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Mascot, go ahead.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Well done.
The corruption in this country, you know, is so much. You can't imagine. This one is just that maybe there was a press conference. Because that's why politics in Nigeria is a big business. It's a big business. They do or die affair. So that is how it has been going in all government quarters. You saw what the other day Governor Mecca here so brought a press conference that about 50 billion of government property as well, you know,
taken by
we are looted
aides
by his
predecessor, according to him.
Family members. According to the governor's press, the
press release,
the chairman of the recovery of government assets, you know, just back that about 50 billion was, you know, his kitchen cabinet, his immediate kitchen, both family members. This is the type of thing we get in Nigeria: high-level corruption, hyper corruption, humongous corruption that cannot be explicated, that cannot be explained by anybody across the world. That is the lip service which our leaders pay to governance, pay to the delivery of democratic dividends. They use small headline, running costs, and, you know, from there they perpetrate high-level corruption, running into billions of naira. In those days, you know, this corruption, we used to hear it in thousands and millions. Now it is in billions, hundreds of billions. That is why they get so much in power that even when the youth, they want to agitate, when they want to agitate, they will bribe the leadership of the youth. They bribe them, give them so much money, so much crucial cards, so that at the end of the day, nobody will challenge them. But I feel that one day, Nigeria, when you push people to the wall, when they get so much filled up with suffering, with failure, with despondency, with cynicism, with the anger, with the war, with the anguish, one day, when you press them to the wall, they will be able to react.
All right, Mascot.
Because Nigerians are fed up and tired. Thank you.
Thank you, Mascot. Thank you very much. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Andrew.
Yeah, you're welcome.
ID.
All right, ID, welcome.
Can you just tell me what the Bauchi people produce to the economic gain of this country? Can you just remember any of the products or whatever they do to improving the economy of this country?
Oh, even if they agriculture, human resource.
Is that human resource? Agriculture. We know that they have herders.
Yes.
I'm sure you eat beef.
You see, it's a pity. When we begin to agitate for resource control, they thought we are joking. Look at, this is the money generated from the oil revenue as the main bane of the economy of this country. And it's being given to people who can never produce anything to improve the economy.
I think it's improper to say they can't, because I know that they produce, they grow onions, the other agricultural produce, and they are also blessed with natural resources. Whether or not it's the center of our economy is a different conversation. But they also have resources. that we might not have tapped in, we may not have tapped into yet.
And that isn't their
You are a
fault.
journalist. Try and do that. That is a homework I give it to you. But what
We are
I'm
not
trying
the
to tell
Nigerian
you,
government.
what I'm trying to tell you is that when someone is indolent in his own domain, whatever thing he saw, he swallow it and doesn't value it. The corruption that we are saying we are fighting. Okay, now you are telling me you use 1.something billion for funeral services. How many is it President Yaradua that died in that place that you buried? How many dignitaries that died in that place that you buried that went up to 1.something trillion? We are talking about billions of naira. You can just imagine. I'm praying that this country should wake up one day for resource control so that we will know that most of these states who cannot be able to produce anything or who are indolent will wake up to the responsibility of making sure that they are productive in order to know the pains the people, other person's goals. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Heidi, for your contribution. The lines are open. Now, I'll take our minds back to what former President Olusegun Obasanjo said when he said, as long as people in power continue to think that corruption is only when someone steals money or goods, they would remain deluded. Is this another form of corruption? Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Your name, please?
My name is Clinton.
Clinton, can you please turn down the volume of your radio? Thank you. Okay. I can still get callbacks. Can you turn it down completely, the volume?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, no, but please, this program, I want to know July.
Okay, 6th of July. The Anti-Cultism and Security Summit is on the 6th of July. 6th of July. That's about 2 weeks from now, less than 2 weeks from now.
Less than 2 weeks. Okay. The venue, is it?
All of those details will be coming out shortly. I think we already put that out, but would also state it again, obviously, so you get to hear it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, Today 95.1 FM. Hello?
Hello, Andrew.
Yes, you're welcome.
That's Kenneth.
We can barely hear you, Kenneth. You're sounding really low.
Yeah, this is Thomas. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Andrew. Are you surprised?
I'm just doing my job.
About what the prof said.
You mean?
Why did you think our people celebrate? And we said it is our turn. Why do we always talk to? We want our people to be appointed to the this and that. It's because of this now. If your brother is there, you are also there. If your sister is there, you are there. If your father or your mother is there, you are there. Or you don't think all this agitation of resource control, is it for fancy? It's not. As for the Bauchi, you have seen it now. That is how our money. And that's why we keep on complaining. That's why I wanted to complain and said there is poverty, there is hunger on the land. I ask one simple question. Have we, as a people, asked our local government chairmen, councillors, including the governors of each of our states, what are they doing with the resources, the money given to them? You can hear now somebody telling you now that they spend over 1.2 billion on burial. Did the whole bunch of people die? No, Andrew. I'm asking.
Well, that was in 5 months, so we don't know. And he said they had to continue it because of the importance it has to the people.
Why won't he continue with it? He will continue because that is the ATM machine. The way to get more. And the one of someone said, what are they producing? Yes, they are Nigerians. So please, if you are talking about issues in Nigeria, we should leave sentiment of how much are they producing, the money is coming from
Yes, thank you. We sorted that out
what
as
about
well.
the one? Yes. What about the one given to our own governors here? What are they doing with it? It's the same thing now. You hear we spend over how many million on Christmas carol, this, that. You don't know how they have been sharing the money. So to continue, one day they will give account of it.
Thank you very much. The SMS portal is open, by the way, so messages 0701-933-9962. We'll be taking those messages shortly. Let's take this phone call first. Hello, yes, you're welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, I'm Sele West from Port
Okay, Sele West.
I've seen where they are very Muslim, you know. They just one white and with this, they just wrap them and throw them inside the
No, don't put it like that. When you say throw them, you begin to look like you're disrespecting the tradition of another set of people.
I mean, put them on the grave.
Yes, don't sound in that manner. Thank you. Well, we get what you're trying to say. We know that the Muslim burial rites are very simple and not very elaborate, unlike for Christians where you have first week keep, some people have second week keep. In fact, the burial will last for a week. I don't know. I think they have at most 2-3 days, 4. I don't know. I don't know how many days. Exactly. Yes, almost immediately. Yeah. So I don't know how many days Muslims wait. Don't also forget that not everybody in Bochi would be a Muslim, so we don't know that as well. But we just know that the government said that they spent not 2.3 but 1.2 billion on funeral rites. That would mean to buy the material you mentioned, because you talked about materials, buy some materials, and so in the space of 5 months they spent 1.2 billion naira on funeral materials. Hello, today 95.1 FM.
Andrew.
Yes, you're welcome.
My name is Ahusi Chima. Calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, Chima.
Andrew, I see one of the sources where the money of this nation is going to. That is one of the sources. A man spends such amount of money to bury for burial. Andrew, this is disgusting. I am crying right bitterly. You understand? Such money would have put food in the tables of millions of people in that very state. And somebody will spend it on a burial. Now, this is the reason why after they have served, after they claim that the people called them to serve, they were at the backyard drinking tea, and the people came and started begging them to come and serve as a governor or representative. After serving, what will they do? For them to give account, they will go to a court of law. A court of competent jurisdiction will grant interlocutory injunction restraining an intervention agent who are supposed to investigate them, not to investigate. You understand? Andrew, I think this nation is heading, is in a state of quagmire. If such money will go to burial, just burial. Let me reserve my comment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. One more call before the messages. Everybody's eager. We'll get to that pretty soon. Hello, good afternoon.
Andrew.
Lawson, how's Yenegua?
Yenegua is fine.
You're welcome.
Yes. Bolu. Yes. He spent. How much did he spend?
1.2 billion in 5 months.
He spent 1.2 billion in 5 months. How much is the allocation? Because I know that the statutory allocation, I know the governors the statutory allocation because they just nothing. Yes, and the statutory allocation from the federation account to most of the northern states is not big at all. You understand? Especially in this period, it's not big. So if he's spending that kind of amount on just a burial right, no disrespect to their burial rights anyway, but the question is burial rights. Who? You understand? Are they burying? Is it that the state is the one that buries every dead person in the government is the one that buries every dead person in the state? Who are these categories of people they spend these materials on? Sometimes we need to get, because it's outrageous and it's funny when you spend government money on such things and you are coming out without shame. Why is it that we don't have shame in this country? Really, we don't have shame, because when you look at, you are spending this, and I don't know. I can't really go too deep because I don't even know, for instance, who are entitled to this material.
Is it the entire state? Is it certain category of people?
I think for the people of the state, what was stated there was for the people of the state. So there wasn't any special segregation made to say, oh, this particular sector people for the people of the state. But what we don't know is it for every dead person or anybody that dies? But it says it's funeral materials that they buy or purchase for people of the state for within 5 months, and it says they have to continue because of how important it was to the people of the state.
Is it that it has been a tradition of the state that the government have to make expenses on these materials?
If it was a tradition of the state, if it was a tradition of the state, that would mean we ask the next question: how many people die in a month to warrant that huge amount of money?
Huge amount.
That's it. And the funny part of it is the worry part of it is that in 5 months, so how much is he getting? That alone, that would be spent alone on the. But let me tell you, Andrew, have you even for once and wonder why, with all the resources, the kind of resources Nigeria has, why is it that she's not growing? Why are there no development? Why are we suffering? Why is there so much poverty? That is the question. See, let me tell you, I don't believe that Nigeria, when they say poverty this, poverty that, I don't believe that. Because if you look at take pastors, for instance, just pastors, you understand? See how much, see how rich, go and Google it, see how rich Nigerian pastors are. Who are the people contributing this money to the, in fact, there is a particular pastor, is a jet, is private jet. He said that it will even get to double figure. That's what he's even saying, private jet. So when they say Nigeria don't have money, I don't believe it. We have enough money. The truth of the matter is that it's in few hands, and these few hands are also not applying to the people and the development of the country.
Thank you very
much.
Unfortunate. Thank you,
very bad story.
Thank you. Let's move on now to our SMS portal. Bolu, help us out.
Sonny Uzobe says, Andrew, Nigeria is the only country where you write exam and give yourself pass mark. INEC should bury their heads in shame. Where did NDLEA get their statistics from? Was it the Nigerian government? This message says, my name is Promise Unwalker from Elele Alumini. According to Climax, quote and unquote, the society determines man's ability and its consciousness, as what you see in the society makes you do what ordinarily you're not bound to do or not do. This one says, this message from Franco Confidence says, we have societal disorientation and celebration of frivolousness. We need a change of mindset if we must move forward. And this one says, greetings, Andrew, and our new brother from another mother, Bolu. For starters, I commend you guys for your enlightenment and brilliance in educating the older folks and the average and younger generation from refraining in the use of hard drugs. I think it's a pleasant one, and sometime the change will be effective. Thanks. Please keep it up. The message was from Clatton in Port Harcourt. This one says, good afternoon to you, gentlemen. I am Ebere Engineer from Port Harcourt. Please, is Bauchi State Governor, does he have a coffin company? And where is EFCC and ICPC?
They were supposed to look into this huge amount of spending. Well, somebody needs to write a petition first. I think that's what the Ibrahim Agu
and
said.
Ifeanyi Chukwu Nwondo says, good day. Somebody asked what mineral resources Bauchi has. Please tell him that the raw materials we use is from Bauchi, and they also have iron too.
They have iron. Which other raw materials do you mean? Raw materials we use? If you're talking about agriculture,
well, whether they have raw materials or not should be the job of the Nigerian government to find out.
See whether we harness it.
These resources.
And I think, like we rightly said, every single state in Nigeria has a resource. First of all, there's human resources. That's the first thing.
And that's what Lagos, for instance, that's what they
thrive on.
That's
human resource.
Human resource.
So it's not fair to say how much they have. Whether or not it's not the focus of the country. That's the government's problem. It's not. The government can wake up tomorrow and say they don't want oil to be our major source of revenue. We'll diversify to something else. After all, it wasn't oil before.
It was agriculture.
A lot of people
are crying out right
now. At that time, it was the West and other parts of the country.
Okay, Imaman Agbam from Umocham Umba in Eche, River State says, in line with the statement of the professor, I think it is in the right direction. I'm totally in support of the statement. Some of our politicians are unable to maximize our potentials for the benefits of the masses. Rather,